Foundation coming at you with another Cowboys video. First of all, before I start, again, anybody that's been affected by Hurricane Harvey and post Harvey, there's a lot of rain still going on. Hope everybody, nothing but the best, not sending but my best wishes to you guys. For anybody that has helped donating or have done their part, going down there with your boat, showing whatever kind of support you could. Big props to you guys. JJ Watt raising over $10 million is very admirable. And it's to the Texans organization, and anybody that has family in the South Texas area that was there, but then you know that your family's in there or your loved ones, and you couldn't, and you had to stand by and wait. It's a very sickening feeling. So for anybody that got reunited with their families or their loved ones, nothing but the best. Glad that you're back together. That's why I do understand why they canceled the game. The only thing I do feel bad, in a sense, is for some of those players. Now, Cowboys, we could be set all the way to our practice squad guy. We could be really set. However, even the Texans. But however, for some of these players that I do feel bad for, is that our roster could have been set. But we know there is some teams out there that is not, their roster could be like our 58th or even our 65th guy could have been their 53rd or even their 46th guy. You know what I mean? They could have been really auditioning for another team, but they won't have that chance now. Not saying that they might not happen, but I'm saying that it lessened their chance. While other teams today somebody could ball out today, and there's wait, I didn't see that guy before, and then they see what they needed to see, or making the practice squad. Like someone like Nate Thieker or Joey Ivy or Jordan Carroll or Lenny Jones. Everyone on the I'm pretty sure that Lewis Neal made the team. I am almost confident that Lewis Neal made the team and all that. But guys like that, like making the NFL. The practice squad. And then finally, there's some guys that out there, they may not even be invited to another camp and trying to live out every second they could for that NFL dream. I do feel bad for that. You know what I mean? But I do understand. But I'm just saying that it is something I do feel bad for, that they worked so hard for. And even though we say, preseason don't matter, to these guys it did. And I do feel bad in a sense to them. Anyways, onto our roster. Well, the Zeke thing is pretty much done. Just gotta wait for what Harold Henderson does. NFL is gonna be on a real slippery slope, because if they go back on anything and then even bring up about the St. Patrick's thing, they will look really, really bad. Even though they take it down to one game, they're going to say the only thing I can see them do is if Roger Goodell comes out and really apologizes to Zeke and comes out and says, you know what, we went back and we looked at it when Zeke provided this evidence. I don't know. To me, it's still, they look silly. They look very, they should have really just gone with the evidence and everything. If they wanted to go, pretty sure that nobody would have too much complaining about the whole St. Patrick's thing. Even I would have been like, you know what, there's tons of people that done stupid things like that, and just because of their profile and everything like that, they're not being on display. But at the same time too, if he is a public figure like that, and they would have said, you know what, we cannot have the NFL players looking like that, then I would have been fine with that. Anthony Hitchens, seems like his injury is not as bad as even even initial follow-up reports as similar to what Dez had. So what they do with his roster spot? Do they just put him on ice until they bring him back, or keep him on the roster? And this will tie into later things I got to talk about. To keep him on the roster to make sure, like, if he's ready to go and then he goes, yeah, I'm good to go, then they can automatically activate him and let him go, because the Damian Wilson thing, this ties into that. Like from what Mickey Spagnuolo said, that the grand jury might not even hear anything until about October. So what would the NFL do? Would they suspend him, or will they wait till after all that? So, which in that case, you kind of like gotta play that slippery slope of that. And like, okay, we can, as long as Damian Wilson is playing, and and not Damian Wilson, obviously Jaden Smith and Justin Durant, but the Damian Wilson is playing very well, and you want to keep Jalen still coming back to that full recovery. Yet you don't want to have any setbacks with that, and he hasn't played again almost 2 years. This is his first real season game, so that's why it's kind of a tricky slippery slope with that. DeMontre Moore and Irving, how will our roster shape out with that? Who do we keep? Lenny Jones, or if there's somebody on the wire? Louis Neal, I think, is going to be a contributor. Marquez White, did he make the roster for now because of the uncertainty with not Lewis, but Jordan Lewis? We've seen things from Cheeto. That's why I would have liked to play the game, because we could have seen Cheeto again and kind of like just having him a flow. Xavier Woods, I think he had that very impressive game, but we kind of wanted to see a little bit more. A real roster fight was, I think, to me, was the Frazier and Blanton. But I think overall, I think Frazier has done more on the defensive side of the ball, plus special teams, where I think they're going to see more value in that. More things you do, the more valuable you are to the team. But yeah, as far as Jordan Lewis goes, what do they do with him? I mean, unlike Switzer, we have very good talent ahead of him, and we even have another guy, Noah Brown, there. So we have Beasley, we have Dez, we have Butler, we have T-Will. So we have all those guys, and then Switzer can kind of like, how we can pick and choose when we want to put him in and stuff like that. Chaz Green, again, if they find somebody on the wire, fine, and they release him, I'm fine with that. But I hope they just if they do keep him, I hope they just keep him to the swing tackle. I mean, if you need a pinch at guard, then fine. But I think our best continuity is with Jonathan Cooper. With the whole Rico Gathers thing going on, I joking around that they're doing this in a sense like they might put him on IR just to make sure he's on the roster, and then on top of that, keep a roster spot open, depending on where you want to use it, like a Noah Brown, like a Marquez White, even a Blanton, like how they wanna do it, or an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman, you can, or even a quarterback. And that's why my final thought is gonna be on this. I would have liked to see the game, because this would have been the final protocol. Before anybody gets on me about that, I do believe that Cooper Rush earned that backup spot. The only thing is that, like, I'm giving you from the coach's perspective, that this would have been a thing where Cooper Rush could have finally just give that, okay, because Kellen Moore has practice squad now I cannot say it. He qualifies. He qualifies for the practice squad. So, and then they can use that Rico IR thing to keep somebody else. But you can put him on the practice squad, and you can have Cooper Rush, if you would have just balled out one more time and then say, okay, now we can put Kellen Moore on the practice squad, and have all our faith into Cooper Rush. So that's how I think. That's how I hope the roster goes and everything like that. But as far as my future videos, I think I'm gonna do what I did last year. Do my division predictions, not records, but just predictions of from the guy that's on the bottom to the top, kind of thing like that. All right, that's my video. Mahalo for watching. Paniolo boys, and go Cowboys.